maybe if you're loud and you're talking right at me. Yeah. No, you'll be all right, probably. All right, folks, we are live here in Wisconsin Rapids for a Wisconsin Valley Conference contest between the Spash Panthers and the Wisconsin Rapids Red Raiders. Thank you for joining us here on CentralWisconsinSports.net for this live stream. Hopefully the rain will hold off here and we'll be able to get to the game, man. Spash about to lead it off here with Brianna Flugar on what can only be one could only describe as the first warm day of this spring season. I think it was about 71 degrees on the drive down from Wausau today. First time we've hit that 70 mark in quite a while. Sounds like from the weather guy this morning that some colder weather is headed in for next week, so I guess we're going to have to enjoy it while we can here. It is kind of cloudy, overcast conditions here, a little bit windy in Rapids. As Megan Overfelt is warming up here for Rapids. Tom Joner has a few words with the umpire before we get started. And Brianna Flugar steps up to the plate for Spash for our first batter of the game. Again, we're glad to have you here on CentralWisconsinSports.net, live streaming Spash and Rapids softball. We've got a pretty decent angle here on the action from behind home plate. It's always an adventure setting up the live streaming webcam to a chain link fence using rudimentary materials such as Velcro and rubber bands. There's a bunt by Flugar and nice scoop there by the second baseman. That is number 7, Megan Seekert, to get Flugar out. So 0 for 1 for Flugar. One out here in the top half of the first inning as Aubrey Droner steps in for Spash. So Spash's number 2 hitter, Aubrey Droner, up. And that one is low from Overfelt. Droner with a huge game against Wausau West earlier this week when she hit 2 home runs in that game and takes that one low. So Droner, the freshman, with a 2 home run game last Tuesday night against Wausau West. Game that Spash won handily. Droner takes that one to shortstop for an easy out. 2 outs here for Spash in the top of the first inning. And that will bring up Jordan Kowaleski. Kowaleski steps in, and Overfelt fires, and that one's low, bounces in front of home plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Like I said, we're happy to have you here with us on this live streaming broadcast right on CentralWisconsinSports.net. As our live streaming games are starting to wind down a little bit here as we get into the second half of the spring season. That comes in as a ball. So 2 balls and no strikes on Kowaleski. Kowaleski is the sophomore catcher for the Panthers. Steps in, and here's the pitch from Overfelt. That one's low. 3 balls and no strikes now on Kowaleski. 2 outs here in the top of the first inning, Spash versus Rapids. in a rivalry game here in the Wisconsin Valley Conference. That one is in there for a strike, so 3 balls and one strike, excuse me, on Jordan Kowaleski. That one is hit past the first baseman, and that's going to go for a hit, I believe. So the Spash Panthers have 1 runner aboard. That's going to go on as an error, and that one gets past the catcher, and Kowaleski takes second. So Kowaleski reaches on the error and takes second on a wild pitch. And Megan Roth is up to bat now for Spash, as the wind picks up and blows our camera. And there's a pinch runner for Spash, and I believe that's Kylie Hodgson now on second base. So Roth will be looking to drive in a run, something she's done a lot of so far this season. With the wind blowing, I would say, pretty much in on the hitters, coming in a little bit from right field. So it'd be a tough day to get it out against the wind here. But if anybody can do it, Megan Roth can. And that one comes in, it's low, and Hodgson's going to take third base. So 2 low pitches in the dirt result in 2 bases that Spash base runners were able to pick up there. So Roth now with Hodgson on third, and Roth with a 2 balls and no strike count, and that one hits her. So a hit by pitch
No harm, Meg, no harm.
puts Roth on first base, Hodgson now on third. Tom Joner has a few words here with the umpire. So once again, we're in the top of the first inning here. Spash with 2 runners aboard, runners at the corners. Megan Roth is at first base, and Kylie Hodgson is at third. The batter is Shaylee Cluck. So Cluck with an RBI opportunity here for Spash. And she takes that pitch and fouls it straight back.
Right on it, kiddo.
And of course that wrecked our angle also. And we'll try to fix that. As another pitch comes in, and that one's low.
Looking good out there, Meg.
So Shaylee Cluck now with 1 ball and 1 strike. And that one is low, and the runner takes off for home base, and she's going to make it. So Hodgson scores. The first run for Spash, and Spash takes a 1-0 lead here. And the top of the first inning, still 2 outs, and Roth takes third on that. So Cluck with up to bat, 2 balls and 1 strike. Roth is on third now. Spash looking for another run here. And if you just joined us, our foul ball kind of wrecked our angle a little bit, so we'll try to fix that in between innings if you stick with us here, as Overfelt throws it into Cluck, and she takes a ball low. 3 balls and 1 strike on Shaylee Cluck. And Cluck drives that one, but it's right to the second baseman for the out. So Spash with 1 run in the top of the first. Hang with us here. We'll try to fix the angle on the camera. All right, folks, and we are back here now. Hopefully that's a little bit better of an angle for you, for those of you watching at home, as Rapids comes up to bat here, and that is Beth Borski leading off for Rapids. 1-0 here, Spash. Got one run in their half of the first inning, and Borski with a bunt, and a nice one right in front of home plate. Kovaleski throws her out. Good throw by Kovaleski. So, one up, one down here for Aubrey Droner. As you can probably hear the wind a little bit, getting picked up by the microphone. Blowing from our right to our left as you're looking into the screen there. And there is a strike on Brost. Allison Brost, number 2 hitter for Wisconsin Rapids. As Droner looks and fires in, and that one is grounded to the shortstop, Megan Roth. She's up with it, throws high. Eckroat with a nice play to pick that one up. She stretched up high, jumped, came down, and tagged the runner out. So a nice defensive play there by Eckroat on a high throw from Megan Roth. 2 away here for Aubrey Droner in the bottom half of the first inning. Spash still leading 1-2-0. Droner comes in, and that one is high, ball 1. Droner in there, and that one's a strike. Fastball right down Main Street. 1 ball and 1 strike now. Seekert is the batter. Droner fires, and Seekert waves over the top of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning. In beautiful Wisconsin Rapids. Nice day for softball. That one is low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's the first time you look around the crowd here and you don't see people with blankets and overalls and parkas and hoods and hats and all kinds of other stuff on. So good weather for softball. And that one's lined to Eckroat at first base. She's going to touch it herself for the out. So it's a 3 up, 3 down inning for Aubrey Droner. And Spash will be coming up here. After 1 complete, it is Spash 1 and Rapids nothing. So Spash comes up in the second inning, leading 1-0. Hannah Warzella is the batter. And she is facing off against Megan Overfelt. Spash scored 1 run in the top of the first inning, looking to add to that lead here in the top of the second.
Go, Meg.
We, of course, want to thank you for joining us right here. Live streaming action on CentralWisconsinSports.net as Warzella steps in. And Overfelt rocks and fires, and Warzella found a hole between second and third base for a base hit. So Spash with their leadoff runner aboard, Hannah Warzella. And Maggie Gruber is the batter now for Spash. Gruber, a left-handed hitter. Warzella with pretty good speed at first base. And we'll see if they try to advance her or just let Gruber swing away. And Gruber squares the bunt. Warzella stops.
Let it go, Meg. Let it bring it.
1 strike on Gruber. That one is low from Overfelt, and Warzella will take second on that. and rounds it and steps back. So Spash with a runner in scoring position here in pretty quick order in the top of the second inning. Of course, the Panthers leading 1-0 here against their rivals, Wisconsin Rapids. Maggie Gruber up to bat, looking to advance Warzella or possibly have her score. Infield is playing in a little bit for Gruber now as she swings away on that one, and it's fouled back and out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gruber takes a few practice cuts. And Overfelt fires, that one's high. 2-2 on Gruber. Overfelt comes in, and Gruber takes that low one. It's fielded by the shortstop, and she is out at first, but she does advance Warzella to third base. So a ground out for Gruber. Advances Warzella to third base. There's 1 out now in the top of the second. And that brings up Jordan Kaminsky. Kaminsky the batter now for Spash. That one is high. Ball 1 to Kaminsky. And Kaminsky waves at that one for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Kaminsky. Overfelt comes in, that one's high. 2 balls and a strike. And Kaminsky takes that one into center field, and it's going to fall. Warzella will score, and Kaminsky ends up at second base with a double. So a double by Kaminsky scores Warzella, as Spash takes a 2-0 lead here in the top of the second inning. Still only 1 out. And the batter now is Janelle Nelson. So with Kaminsky at second base, senior Janelle Nelson steps in. That one's high. One ball and no strikes to Nelson. There's another one high. 2 balls and no strikes. Still just 1 out here in the top of the second inning for Spash. Runner in scoring position, looking to add to their lead. And that one is a strike. 2 balls and a strike on senior Janelle Nelson. Overfelt comes in. Nelson takes it to right field. It's right at the right fielder though. That's going to be an out, and it's not deep enough to advance Kaminsky. So 2 outs now with the Nelson flyout, and Kaminsky is still at second base as the top of the order returns for Spash and Brianna Flugar, who is 0 for 1. She bunted and was thrown out in the first inning. So we'll see what they have Flugar do here. Very speedy runner. That one was high. 1 ball, no strikes. Flugar, one of the senior leaders on this Spash team. That one is in for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Flugar. 2 outs here in the top of the second. 1 runner aboard for Spash on a suddenly sunny day here in Rapids. Flugar takes that one to right field. It's high, playable, and she catches it for the out. So Spash Strands won. They score one, and the score is now 2-0. We're going to the bottom of the second inning. All right, and here we are in the bottom of the second inning, and there's a strike from Aubrey Droner as Vicky Getzinger is up to bat for the Wisconsin Rapids Red Raiders. Now a little bit outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. That one is low. 2 balls and a strike on Getzinger. Droner with a 3-up, 3-down first inning, and looking for similar results here in the bottom of the second. She comes in, and that one is fouled straight back. A couple of people in the crowd make a half-hearted attempt to try to catch it, but ultimately it falls to the ground without any fan interference. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Getzinger as Droner comes inside for a ball, and the count is full. And that one is in for a strike. So Droner's first strikeout of the game. And there is 1 away here in the bottom of the second inning. Kayla Boss up to bat here for Rapids. 1 ball and no strikes. Now 2 balls and no strikes.
Yours here, Kayla, yours now. Be ready.
Third one's in there for a strike from Droner, so 2 balls and a strike to Kayla Boss. And that one's a swinging strike, so 2 balls and 2 strikes here as Droner fights back from a 2-0 count. Droner with 1 strikeout in the game. That was Getzinger, the last batter. And that's the second one. So Boss strikes out for the second out in the inning. And McKenna Neiman is up for Rapids. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Droner comes in. That one's high. 1 ball, no strikes. And that one's cut on and fouled. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that is a strike. 1-2 now on Neiman. Droner struck out the previous 2 batters, looking for her 3rd in a row here. Droner rocks, comes in, and that one's high. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We are in the bottom of the second here. Spash leading 2-0. Rapids looking to get something going here with 2 outs in the inning as Droner comes in. That one's high and outside for a ball. Count is now full, 3-2.
Quick bat now, come on.
So the payoff pitch is on the way as Droner delivers, and that one is tapped to right field but goes out of bounds, sort of beyond what Eckroat was able to get to and in front of the right fielder Kaminsky. So out of play. And the count remains 3-2.
Here we go, come on now.
Droner comes in, and that's swung on and missed as Droner strikes out the side, and Spash keeps Rapids scoreless. So at the end of 2, it is 2-0, Spash leading. So here we are in the top of the third now, as anytime a ball hits the backstop, we have difficulty with the camera angle. So bear with us here as we'll make an adjustment at the half inning as Droner takes a strike, and it's 1-1 on Aubrey Droner now. Attaching a webcam to a chain link fence is no easy task. And keeping it in the same position is also no easy task as Droner hits one high to center field. The center fielder comes on, the wind held it up, and that's going to fall for a base hit as it was high in the air. Long run for the center fielder. Was unable to get to it, so that will go down as a base hit for Droner. Droner now 1 for 2 on the day. And Jordan Kaminsky, the 3 hitter for Spash, is up to bat now. So Kaminsky is up, and that one is high. 1 ball and no strikes. And Kowaleski waves at that one. I don't know if I just called her Kaminsky or not. I was so worried about this camera situation, not paying attention to what I'm talking about here. So Kowaleski, 1 ball and 1 strike now. Droner on first base. Spash leading 2-0. No outs here in the top of the third. And Kowaleski with the bunt, and she's thrown out, but Droner advances to second, and actually there's a courtesy runner for her again, and that might be Kylie Hodgson, although I'm not sure. So let's check that. And it's Taylor Gregorich. So Gregorich advances to second, and that brings up Megan Roth. power hitting shortstop for Spash. Roth fouls the first one off. One ball, or excuse me, no balls and one strike. Roth steps in, Overfelt prepares, throws it in, and that one's low, blocked by the catcher. A nice block there to prevent Gregorich from going to third base. So Roth takes a few practice cuts here. One ball and one strike. And the pitch is in, and it's low. Gregorich takes off for third. She gets down, and she's there, safe. So Gregorich, with a steal, or excuse me, a stolen base, ends up on third. Count is 2-1 on Roth. No outs, one out here in the top of the third. That one is in the dirt, and Gregorich digs for home. She's there easily, and Spash scores to make it 3-0. And now I think they're saying that so they're saying that it hit her in the foot. So Gregorich is on third base. So now they're saying that the run scores, the pitch they were saying at first hit Roth, which would put her on first base. But maybe they're saying it didn't hit her now. The run actually did score. So Roth is back up in there. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. And that one is low, so Roth will walk. So Spash takes a 3-0 lead on that kind of strange series of events there. And Shaylee Cluck will be the batter. Cluck is 0 for 1 so far in this game. Stands in against Overfelt, and there's a strike. No balls and 1 strike to Shaylee Cluck, the sophomore. Cluck hits it hard to third base. She goes the short way to second, try for the relay, but that's not in time, so Cluck grounds to the third baseman. They cut down the lead runner, Roth, at second. And that is 2 outs now in the top of the third. Hannah Warzella now the batter for Spash. Again, if you're joining us, we had a little bit of camera difficulty with a foul ball that hit the backstop and dislodged our camera from the chain link fence as Cluck takes second on that pass ball. So Hannah Warzella is up. She is 1 for 1 today. Scored the first run for, or actually the second run for Spash. And that one is high. 2 balls and no strikes to Warzella. And Warzella laces that one to left field. It's over the left fielder's head. It's going to easily score Cluck. And Warzella takes second. So a RBI double for Warzella gives Spash their second run of the inning and their 4th in the game. Spash now leading 4-0, and Maggie Gruber is the batter. Nice hit there by Warzella. She got all of that one. First pitch to Gruber is a strike. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Spash leading 4-0. No balls and 1 strike to Gruber. Gruber steps up to that one and takes it for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Overfelt throws, and Gruber lines it to the shortstop, who throws her out. Nice strong throw there, and the inning is, half inning is over, I should say. Spash gets 2 runs, and it is 4-0. All right, we are in the bottom of the 3rd here, still working on our camera situation. If you tilt your head just the right way, it looks exactly the way that it's supposed to. So Droner comes in, and there are a quick strike, so 1 ball and 1 strike here. And the batter is Seekert. Or excuse me, that's not right. Whipple. Whipple's the batter for Rapids. 2 balls and 1 strike. And that one is grounded to the second baseman, Brianna Flugar. She's up quickly and throws her out. And that will bring up Overfelt. So Megan Overfelt comes up for Wisconsin Rapids here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Down 4-0, 1 out, as the 2 pitchers are facing each other now. Oh boy, here we go again. I actually might have knocked it back into place a little bit, if you can believe that. So Droner fires again. That one's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Overfelt. Now comes inside, almost hits her. 2 balls and 1 strike on Overfelt. That one is laced through the middle, past Droner and Megan Ross. So the first hit of the game is Overfelt, a single up the middle. And Rapids with something working here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, 1 runner aboard. That brings up Corey Williams. And Rapids will put a courtesy runner in for their pitcher. So 1 runner aboard for the Red Raiders here. Bottom of the 3rd inning. Down 0-4. Corey Williams up to bat. That one is cut on and missed. Strike 1 from Droner. And of course we want to join you to our thank you for joining us here in a live broadcast of Spash Softball. That one is bunted, and Droner takes it, throws to first for the out. So Corey Williams advances the runner.
Hey, Hannah, nice job!
And that's the 2nd out of the inning. So Rapids with the courtesy runner at 2nd base after the first hit of the game by Megan Overfelt. And they're going to see if they can drive her in here as number 1 steps up. And it's Beth Borski, the leadoff hitter for Spash, or excuse me, for Rapids. That one is high and inside for a ball. And like I said, if you're joining us here, if you tilt your head exactly the right way, the picture will appear perfectly straight in front of you. A couple of foul balls have wreaked havoc with
Go back.
the angle of the camera in this game. But we'll try to make an adjustment at the in-between innings. Count is now 2-0 on Borski, and she looks at that one. 3 balls and no strikes. There's a strike down Main Street for Droner. 3 balls and 1 strike now. And that one is a ball, and Borski walks. So 2 runners aboard for Rapids, and puts a charge into their fan base here as Tom Droner steps out to speak to his troops. Trying to get out of the inning here without any damage. Spash leading 4-0. We are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So a quick meeting at the mound for Spash, as Aubrey Droner, who was sharp for her first 6 batters, has run into a little bit of trouble here, walking her last hitter, Borski. Allison Brost up now for Rapids. She fouls that one out of play, well out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Brost. 2 runners aboard for Spash, or excuse me, Rapids. 2 runners aboard for the Red Raiders here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That one comes in, it's on Brost's hands. Droner takes it, and the inning is over. So Droner catches the ball, and Spash gets out of it.
Hey, take a ball with you out there. Well, my daughter. She hurts her arm, but they're making a throw. Yeah, they all got smashed.
All right, folks, hopefully that angle is a little bit better here until the next foul ball goes to the backstop. And we're going to the 4th here after 3 complete. Spash is leading 4-0. And the first batter up here for Spash is Jordan Kaminsky. And she is 1 for 1 so far in this game with a RBI double in her last at bat. So Rapids had something working there with, hopefully that's going to just please stay. Okay. Rapids had something working there with 2 runners aboard in the bottom of the 3rd, but couldn't push the run across, so Spash stays in control of this one, 4-0, as Kaminsky steps in there, 1 ball and 1 strike. And she cuts through that one. Nice pitch by Overfelt. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kaminsky. And there's a strikeout by Overfelt. So Kaminsky goes down on strikes. And Janelle Nelson, the senior, comes up. Nelson is a speedy base runner once she gets aboard. And I gotta believe it's hard to pitch to her a little bit because she is doesn't prevent a very large target up there for the pitcher. So Overfelt comes in, and that one is fouled down the right field line and out of play. So no balls and 1 strike for Janelle Nelson. And Nelson steps back in there. That one's a strike at the knees. Nice pitch by Overfelt. And Nelson finds herself in an 0-2 hole here. 1 away in the top of the 4th. Spash leading 4-0. That one's low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Overfelt comes in. That one's high. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Janelle Nelson, the speedy outfielder for Stevens Point. And Nelson finds a hole between third base and shortstop and hits a single. So a nice at bat there for Nelson. Down 0-2 in the count, fights all the way back and hits a single. So 1 runner aboard here with 1 out in the top of the 4th, and that will bring up Brianna Pflugar. She's 0 for 2 so far in this game. She grounded out in her first at bat in a bunt attempt and flew out in her last at bat. She looks at that one, thinks about bunting it, but it's low. Takes it for a ball. No balls and 1 strike. Clouds are kind of gathering, it looks like, a little bit behind us here. Some rough weather is expected a little bit later tonight, but hopefully we'll have a chance to get through this entire game without any raindrops coming down and destroying our equipment. That one's also low. 2 balls and no strikes. Still only 1 away here for Spash in the top of the 4th. Overfelt comes in. That one is a strike. Looked high to Pflugar. Tom Droner, I think, agrees with me. But it's a strike nonetheless. 2 balls and 1 strike to Pflugar, the speedy second baseman for Spash. Nelson at first base, readies. As Pflugar bunts that one to the third base side. Pflugar with unbelievable speed, and she's safe. So Pflugar and Nelson now aboard for Spash. Only 1 out here in the top of the 4th. And Aubrey Droner up to bat. As we mentioned in her last game, Droner hit 2 home runs against Wausau West. So Rapids is going to want to be a little bit careful about how they approach her in this at-bat. Trying to keep within striking distance here. Down 4 runs already. And Overfelt comes in. Droner takes that one low. 1 ball to the freshman pitcher, Aubrey Droner. Once again, we want to thank you for joining us here on our live stream broadcast of Spash Softball versus Wisconsin Rapids on CentralWisconsinSports.net. As Droner takes that one inside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes to Aubrey Droner. 2 runners on for Spash and 1 out here in the top of the 4th. That one is in there for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Droner. Droner laces that one up the middle and past the shortstop, so that's going to score 1 run in Speedy Nelson as the throw actually beat her to the plate, but went to the backstop, and Nelson scores to give Spash a 5-0 lead. So Droner picks up an RBI there. She ends up on second base. I believe that's Gregorich going out there for her to pinch run, and Pflugar ends up at third. So another run scores for Spash on an RBI by Droner that scores Nelson. 5-0 now, Spash. Still only 1 out. And Jordan Kowaleski is the batter. And she nails that one into center field, and it is going to not quite get to the fence, but that's going to score Pflugar easily. And Kowaleski goes to second, and Gregorich scores, so there's 2 more in for Spash. As Jordan Kowaleski comes through with a double and 2 RBIs. So 2 RBI double to give Spash now a 7-0 lead. And we're still in the top of the 4th, only 1 out. So a runner aboard at second base, and this is Megan Roth. So Spash turning up the heat here a little bit in the 4th inning. And there's a strike on Megan Roth. So 1 ball and 1 strike on Roth. And of course, Roth has a lot of power here, looking to drive in the runner at second base. Roth went through a stretch earlier where she hit 5 home runs in 5 games, so Roth is a handful. Hodgson takes third base on a errant throw there by the pitcher, and she comes around to score, so Spash picks up another run as Haji scores on a throwing error. And it is now 8-0 Spash. And Rapids is going to take a second to talk about it and try to figure out some plan to get Roth out here. There's only 1 out in the inning. 4 runs are in, as Spash is flexing their muscle a little bit here in the top of the 4th inning. So Roth steps in one more time. 2 balls and 1 strike. That one is low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Megan Roth. Roth is officially doesn't have an at-bat in this game. She nails that one into left field for a single. So another base runner for Spash here, as Roth now is officially 1 for 1 with a single. And that brings up Shaylee Cluck, the hard-swinging sophomore. Still just 1 away here in the top of the 4th. And Cluck hits that one right back to the pitcher. It is deflected off of her glove, and I don't think they're going to get her at first. They don't. Kind of a hard luck single there for if you're a Rapids fan. As Overfelt knocked it down, Brose came in to try to clean it up, but couldn't get the runner out, so, or excuse me, that was Borski. And so now you have Shaylee Cluck at first base, Megan Roth at second, and Hannah Warzella is up to bat. Warzella with a RBI double in her last at bat. Spash leading 8-0, still only 1 out in the 4th inning for Spash. And Warzella lifts that one into left field. It's high and deep, but will be caught by the center fielder. They're going to throw it to third. Nice play out there in center field. And that is Vicky Getzinger out there, so she makes the catch and prevents the runners from advancing. So Roth stays at second base, the lead runner for Spash, and Cluck is at third. So the Warzella flyout brings up Maggie Gruber. Gruber is 0 for 2 with 2 ground outs so far. That one is a strike. Two away here for Spash in their half of the 4th inning. Looking to add more with 2 runners aboard. And Gruber looking to make contact and advance those runners. That one's high. One ball and 1 strike on Gruber. Gruber takes a cut at that one and is fouled and out of play. One ball and 2 strikes for Gruber. That one's high, and our camera somehow survives that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Gruber. That one's high. And the count is now full on Maggie Gruber. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Spash looking to add to their lead here. They're up 8-0. We're in the top of the 4th inning. They're 2 outs, 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch to Gruber. She takes it into left field, and that one is caught. So Spash scores 4 runs in the inning, and the lead is now 8-0. Spash up. All right, we're in the bottom of the 4th inning now. Spash leading 8-0 after a 4-run top of the inning for the Panthers. And Aubrey Droner will face off against Seekert, and that one is laced into right field for a single. So Seekert with a nice hit there. And she's now 1 for 2 on the day with that single. And it brings up Vicky Getzinger. Getzinger is 0 for 1. She was a strikeout victim in her last at-bat. So Rapids with the lead-off runner aboard, looking to cut into Spash's 8-run lead. We're in the bottom of the 4th here. 1 ball now on Getzinger. Droner steps in, fires it, and that one is hit up the middle, and that's going to go for a base hit. So Rapids with something going here in the early parts of the bottom of the 4th. First 2 runners aboard. First and second now. And Boss is the batter. Boss takes that one, and 3 consecutive hits for Rapids, and it isn't enough to score a run. They're getting the ball in. It's cut off by Eckroat, and Rapids scores their first run of the game as Seekert scores on a hit by Boss. And the score's now 8-1. Still no outs in the bottom of the 4th. Nice piece of hitting there by Boss to score Rapids' first run of the game. So 8-1, no outs here, and this is Neiman up to bat.
Let's go, McKenna.
McKenna Neiman.
6-2-7-1. 6-2-7-1. Brianna, use the cutter.
That one is high from Droner. 1 ball and no strikes to Neiman. Neiman was a strikeout victim in her last at-bat also. Swings at that one.
Good cut, good cut.
1 ball and 1 strike. So Rapids offense is showing some life here after a rough top half of the inning. Trying to cut into that lead. Spash is built up. There's another strike, so 1 ball and 2 strikes now. As Neiman steps out, gets a little bit of instruction from Coach Harry Babcock.
Come on, McKenna, confidence, buddy.
Digs her right foot into the dirt there and readies as Droner rocks back and fires. That one's high. Nice job of catching that one by Jordan Kowaleski. Could have saved a run from scoring there, as Rapids has a runner, Getzinger, on third base. Droner steps in, fires, and there's another strikeout. So Neiman goes down, the second strikeout for her today. And it brings up Whipple. Jordan Whipple. So there's one away here in the bottom of the fourth. Runners still in the corners for Rapids. Rapids with their first run of the game in this inning, down 8-1. It's a hard cut there by Whipple. Swings through it. No balls and 1 strike. Droner comes in. That one's a ball as well. Let's see. Yep, called a ball. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Droner comes in. That one's cut on and missed. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Strikeout is your best friend in this situation. If you can get an out without the batter making any contact and having a chance of that runner scoring from third base, and there she gets it. So another punch out for Droner. And unofficially, that is 5 strikeouts for her, 2 in a row. Overfelt is up now. She had the first hit of the game for Rapids and looking to do some more damage here with 2 runners aboard for Wisconsin Rapids. Takes a strike 1. That one's outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Megan Overfelt, the pitcher for Wisconsin Rapids. 1-1 so far in this game, or 1-4-1 I should say, is Overfelt. Droner is high with that one, and the runner is going to score. So another run scores for Rapids. It's now 8-2 as Getzinger scores. And an important run for Rapids to get that runner at third base across home plate. And the lead is now 6 for Rapids. 2 outs still here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 2 balls and 1 strike to Overfelt. As Droner comes in, and that one's cut on. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You all right? You all right?
Droner fires again. That one is to the backstop. And Rapids advances their runner now. That is Boss, goes to third base. So Boss is at third base now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Overfelt as Droner comes in, and that one nearly hits Overfelt, and she walks her. Which brings up the top of the order for Rapids, and Borski excuse me, this is going to be Williams, so it's 1 before the top of the order for Rapids. Okay, so Rapids with runners at the corners now.
Let's go, Corey.
Corey Williams steps in against Droner. Still 2 out, and we're in the bottom of the 4th as that one comes in, and it is high for a ball. One ball and no strikes now to Corey Williams as Droner fires. That one is a strike, swung through by Williams. Spash trying to get out of the inning without any further damage after giving up 2 so far. Still holding an 8-2 lead when the bottom of the 4th inning. As Williams steps in there. Droner comes in, nice pitch, and a good cut by Williams. 1 ball and 2 strikes now. That one is fouled straight back. One ball and 2 strikes now on Williams as Droner lines up, and that one's low. Good eye by Williams. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Still 2 outs. 2 runs are in for Rapids, and they have a runner on third and another runner on first. So runners at the corners for the Rapids Red Raiders as Droner comes in, and that one is a strike, and Droner gets out of it without any further damage. 2-run score for Rapids in the inning. Score is 8-2. Spash coming up in the top of the 5th. Okay, so Brost is coming into pitch now for Wisconsin Rapids as Overfelt exits the game. Spash is leading 8-2, and Jordan Kaminsky is up to bat here. We are in the top of the 5th inning, and Kaminsky takes a strike. So Brost is has been a pitcher for a long time for Rapids. So she's no stranger to the circle. As she steps in, and there's a ball low. 1 ball and 1 strike to Kaminsky, and Kaminsky is 1 for 2 so far in this game. She had an RBI double in her first at-bat, struck out in her last at-bat. There's a strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kaminsky. As the clouds continue to gather behind us here in Wisconsin Rapids. Has kind of the feeling of rain in the air, but hopefully it'll hold off so we can get the last couple of innings in here. That one is bounced in. 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Of course, we want to thank you for joining our live streaming broadcast right here on CentralWisconsinSports.net. Exciting softball action as Kaminsky strikes out, and the throw down to first is in time, so second strikeout for Kaminsky in the game, and that will bring up Janelle Nelson. And Nelson got a single in her last at-bat, and that kind of started off the fireworks for Spash's offense in the top of the 4th when they pushed 4 runs across. So we'll see if Nelson can continue that trend as she hits this one up the middle, and it's to the shortstop and thrown out in time. Nice play by the shortstop. That's Beth Borski out there. Nice arm. Nelson 1 for 3 on the day, and that brings up the top of the order Brianna Flugar, who bunted aboard in her last at-bat. Spash looking to get something going here offensively in the top of the 5th. As Brost comes in, and that is a ball inside. That is cut on and missed. Flugar got a little bit of the bat on that one. Fouled it to the backstop. The speedy Flugar always gives defenses a headache when she gets on base. She thinks about bunting that one with 1 strike, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike now to Flugar. Kind of puts that thought in the defense's head that she might try to bunt for a base hit, which she's done countless times so far this season and throughout her career. And this time she's swinging away, and that is cut on and fouled. Tom Droner collects it on the 3rd base side, fires it back into the pitcher. So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Brianna Flugar, 2 outs in the inning. Spash leading 8-2. We're in the top of the 5th. That one bounces in front of home plate, so the count is full now, 3-2. Flugar looking to get aboard with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Excuse me, 2 outs in the top of the 5th. And that one comes in, and it's inside for a ball, so Flugar reaches on a walk. And Aubrey Droner is the batter, and she collected an RBI in her last at-bat. We'll see if Flugar takes off, and she does, and it's not even close as she gets in there standing. Flugar's awfully tough to deal with when she gets on the bases. She's just so fast, and she's pretty much got the green light to go whenever she wants to, I think, because you're just not going to throw her out very often. So 1 ball to Droner, Flugar at second base. And Brost comes in, and that one's a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike. Oh, and Droner is way out ahead of that one. Flugar takes 3rd, so her 2nd stolen base. As she ends up on 3rd base. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Droner. Nice change out the last pitch there by Brost. And Brost comes in, and Droner waves and misses, and that will end Spash's half of the 5th inning. No runs score after 4 1/2. Spash is leading 8-2. All right, so Rapids is coming up here in their half of the 5th. Spash still leading 8-2. And leadoff hitter Beth Borski is up for Wisconsin Rapids. She squares off against Aubrey Droner, the freshman pitcher from Spash. Pretty good game we've had here so far. Spash with a big inning in the 4th, and there's a beautiful bunt by Borski. Oh, and they got her. Boy, that was a close play at first base. You couldn't have thrown that out in front of home plate much better than what Borski bunted it there. But a good throw by Spash third baseman Shaylee Cluck, or maybe that was Kovaleski actually, got her out at first. So nice defensive play for Spash. And Brost is the batter now, facing off against Droner. Brost is 0 for 2 and flew out in her last at bat.
Drive one now, 2. Let's go. Let's go. You're starting us here.
Droner comes in. That one's high. Two balls and no strikes.
One you love here. One you love.
Droner comes in again, and that one is tapped to shortstop. And the throw from Megan Roth kind of pulled Mackenzie Eckroth's foot off of the bag. It wasn't a bad throw, it was just a slowly hit ball. And Roth came up and threw it, but pulled Eckroth off of the base there. So Brost ends up with a base hit, her first of the game. And that brings up Seekert. Seekert is 1 for 2 in this game. She singled in her last at bat and takes a mighty rip at that one that's fouled down the first base side and out of play. No balls and 1 strike to Seekert. Droner comes in, and that one is outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Seekert.
Let's go, Seeks.
That one comes in. Droner lays out, makes the play, throws to first, and gets the out. Nice play there by Aubrey Droner, who dove for that ground ball, stabbed it, made the play, and threw it to first base for the out. So the runner Brost advances to second base on the play.
Go, Vicky.
And Getzinger is the batter now for Rapids. Getzinger with 1 single, and Kovaleski is going to throw to third base, and they're going to easily have the runner there. Brost is thrown out by Kovaleski. What a nice throw by the sophomore catcher, right on the money to Shaylee Cluck at third base to cut down Brost and end the inning. So Spash gets out of it without any further damage, still leading 8-2. And we are heading to the 6th inning where Spash will come up to bat. Well, folks, that's going to end our broadcast because it's starting to rain here. So check back for the game report, but we got to put the equipment away.